Greetings, people. All right, I'm reviewing my trades a little bit earlier than usual today. I don't mind this time though. But anyways, yeah, it was another fantastic morning. You could argue it was more fantastic than yesterday because there was not a single red trade. But I still like yesterday more because it was more psychologically impressive, if you will. But the problem was I'm running on like 4.5 hours of sleep. So I'm running on fumes, and we had the promo stocks this morning, which I'm going to explain in some announcements in a bit. Um, so that screwed up my sleep schedule quite a bit, which resulted in me completely sleeping through market open. I wasn't here for it, and I woke up at 6:43. I woke up roughly at six. No, I think it was 6:44. 6:44. I woke up at 6:44 my time, and pretty much sprung out of bed, right into action, got to my computer, and immediately entered calls. Like, immediately entered QQQ and SPX calls. Wasn't really properly sized. I was supposed to be half in each. I was more like 2/3 size in each. I just filled contracts, right? I don't have time to do math. Um, so that's kind of where this morning takes place. Now, if I didn't do that, there would have been no possible trades up until pretty much 644 right here. This is a potential long trade. You can see kind of a fractal cup and handle on the NASDAQ, and ES is stronger than NQ at the moment. So this is kind of or ES has been stronger than NQ, but NQ looks like it's taking back strength, and spoiler, it did flip stronger. This is a potential call trade here. The problem was ES is just now touching supply, but when I got to the market, these two candles happened, and this is a very big deal. Very, very, very big deal because now a majority of the drop has invalidated. I have very solid pivots coming up, which is this and this. And now I'm confirmed in more. We've also been making lower lows, chopping down, as you can see here. Like this is just a call trade. The next candle was a consolidation candle. This is where I entered my call. So I filled SPX calls and QQQ calls. Couldn't really tell which was stronger. They were pretty even. NQ, the last candle was larger, which I got to my computer at the end of that candle. Like I had 20 seconds left in that candle. Luckily, price didn't move much from yesterday's, so I didn't have to alter the strikes much at all in my active trader. If I would have, then I probably would have missed this trade, but I didn't. So this is where the first trade took place. Just standard momentum and liquidity analysis here. And what I'm looking for is these pivots. So I filled these right here. Really just looking for supply, selling when it gets a supply. And stop loss is fairly soft. It's not like I plan on averaging down, but somewhere in this vicinity I'll stop out depending on what it does. This was the first trade. Immediately went well. Right after I entered. Started going fantastic. Planning on selling right when it gets a PT. It is a very major pivot, and we will be in like 6 supply zones on ES by the time we get there. Well, it happened, and I didn't get a good fill because it wicked super. It didn't just go up to that point. It like wicked there really fast. So I did not get a good fill at all. The best I got on my SPX calls was 3.2, and that was for 28. Sorry, yeah, 28% gains. And then 80 cents on QQQ calls for plus 33% gains. But really, I averaged about 25 and 30%, which is pretty good. I mean, it's hard to not sell the top when your PT happens to be the top. So this was awesome. This was beautiful. Um, Fairly green on the day. Now I'm green by like a full trade and a half because I was a little bit larger than half size in each. And as you guys know, when I'm in SPX and QQQ, I'm typically half in each, so I'm still one full trade size. And I still get questions why I go half in each. And I go half in each because I do that when I don't know which is going to be stronger. You know, with my luck, I can just hop into QQQ. Both ES and NQ look great. They both have solid PTs in the same location. Uh, and I can't tell which is stronger. Maybe I just hop into the NASDAQ. So I hop in QQQ calls, and it flips weak, doesn't move. ES gets the PT. I miss out and even lose money. I like spreading out my risk and just going half in each. Plus, my active trader is pretty easy to allow. It's just one click. It's not really any extra steps. Now, if you are trading on the options chain, none of you should be. I don't even know how you could possibly follow my channel if you are. You need at least 2 options chains, one's for SPX and one for QQQ. But you all should be trading on active trader. And I believe I have a lesson in the lesson vids channel on my thinkorswim setup. It only evolved slightly from that, just more grids on the active trader. But anywho, that was my first trade. Beautiful, happy with it. I did keep a runner, and I stopped out of the runner on this spread candle here. But I'm still leaning bullish. Okay, so if we bounce, I'm gonna add a little bit of QQQ calls. I'm just bullish, right? Because why? Well, you can kind of see what I'm seeing here. Inverse head and shoulders, right? So I am bullish on this pullback. I want to take advantage of it. And if, we'll do the calculations in a bit. But anyways, so if we bounce, I will add a little bit of QQQ calls. I actually did fill a few calls here. They didn't do anything. They were red, but it was literally only 3. Like, it wasn't meant as a new position. It was just me adding, because I still had a runner left. I cut the SPX runners. I didn't cut the QQQ runners. I had like 1, and I added 3 to that. So it was like more of a small position than a runner position. But anyways, it flipped back green here. I'm like, okay, this looks good. I'll enter. It's still a small inverse head and shoulders, but sometimes when it's super bullish, it won't put in that right shoulder. It's whatever. I said if we get to 19,530 on NQ, I'm adding. Like, I'm actually adding this time, not just a couple tiny freaking QQQ less than $1 contracts. I'm actually going to add with size, like nearly a full position. So if that happens, I'm in. So I was expecting to get in. Didn't happen. It missed it here. So still waiting to get in. We start dumping. Take my finger off the trigger. News is going to happen. Not yet. News happened. I'm like, okay, that's a decent. Now we're doing something. Now this is like a proper inverse head and shoulder. Still not as rounded, but I mean, what can you expect? You know, if the left shoulder forms in the pre-market and so does the head, you're not going to get a super symmetrical shoulder at market open for an inverse head and shoulder or a regular head and shoulder. It's just not super common. So, but then this candle happens and boom, I'm all in. Not all in as far as portfolio, but I'm fully in. Full position size on QQQ. 10 out of 10 what I want. Now let's run the measurement here, right? Technically, the neckline for this inverse head and shoulders is here. I hate positively sloping necklines for inverse head and shoulders and negatively sloping necklines for head and shoulders. It hurts the odds of your trade working out, increases the odds of it turning into a rising wedge in this case, or in a head and shoulders case, falling wedge and reversing. Not good for continuation. But, I mean, this is pretty damn symmetrical to me. You know, especially on, it's about the same money, yes. But anyways, I mean, here's the width of the left shoulder, right? And this is how you measure PTs for patterns. I don't do it super often. It just gives you a rough idea of what's possible, right? The potential. Boom, there's the width of this left shoulder. That's matching up with the width of the right shoulder. Typically proportional is good. Well, I'm just going to say this is my neckline here. All right, the head and shoulders gives us enough potential to be here. By the way, for all of you guys watching the market right now, ES and NQ look fantastic for new high of day. For all of you guys watching that. But as you guys know, I'm no longer trading. But anyways, this is our potential. Now I have to look at the inverse head and shoulders. How symmetrical is it? Well, the measurements are symmetrical, but what about the time? Not really. You got a pretty big shoulder here, a pretty big shoulder here. Not a big shoulder. So if we did go down, make one more oscillation, then come back up, then I would be expecting, okay, we have a solid shot at this potential. So because this right shoulder is so small in comparison to the left, I'm not thinking it's going to get all the way up here, but this is just a good indicator of how far it could go. And there's some room, right? So no reason to not enter a full-size trade here. It's got solid potential. Well, NQ is nice and strong. ES also looks bullish at the moment. And then we get this candle on ES. I hop in SPX calls. Right at the close of this candle, my ES is gaining its strength back. I entered a half-size position on SPX calls. I couldn't formally alert it, though. All I told you guys was, there's new high of day on NQ. ES looking good for new high of day as well. Personally scalping some SPX calls now as well. That's what I said. Didn't have time to look back at my price and type out the contracts and all that stuff. No. And I was already typing half of that when NQ hit new high of day. And now ES, for some reason, this candle closed so beautiful when I thought it was weaker than NQ. I was thinking it was going to put in a big selling wick. It didn't. So I filled SPX calls here, half size. So again, about 1.5x leverage, nothing crazy. And I'm not really knowing what to expect. I mean, the next major pivots are like right here, and we have some more in here. Honestly, it's hard to see because there's so many freaking supply zones. My screen is just bright red. And this supply zone still needs to break. Really need to update the indicator. I think it's a cache issue with my personal trading view. But anyways, yeah, and then the next major NQ pivot is here. So it's like, and with NQ being stronger than ES, it'll probably be up here-ish by the time ES gets up here. One tick on ES is 5 ticks on NQ. Yeah, that's about right. Yep, that's about right. That's kind of what I figured. Spoiler, it did get there. Immediately, just exploded. I honestly did not expect it. I expected just kind of a grind up. News already happened. There was no new news. I don't know what it was doing. But here I sold all of it. Not all of it. I held a small runner because I thought it had a very decent chance at breaking supply. Also, I did not, by the way, I just said we look fantastic for new high of day. We did just pull back. If this pullback invalidates on ES and NQ, if you guys are watching it at the moment, if it fully invalidates, that is a trade I get into every single time. Doesn't mean it's going to win. It can totally lose, but that's a trade I get into every single time. It looks freaking beautiful. By the way, everyone mark this on your charts. 55, 73, 75 on ES is a perfect double top. I honestly didn't see this. If I saw this, I probably would have held more calls than I did. I literally held one SPX call and like 3 or 4 QQQ calls. Roughly, a few $100 in each. Only for the chance that it breaks all of this supply. Looked like it was going to. I mean, look at this momentum. It's hard to believe that it's not going to. But when you have both of your trades run over 70% in like 2 minutes, I'm freaking selling, just like most of you. It ended up being a great decision because we came back down, and that's where my morning concluded. So those 2 trades, the QQQ calls got 78% gains, and then the SPX calls got 72%. I probably averaged like 65% on them or something. I did pretty good on holding the positions until the last candle, only because it only took 2 candles on ES before it hit my PT. So it's not like you had much of a choice to hold for most of the moves. So it was a fantastic morning. 4 trades. Pretty much all of them were fairly bright green. Super easy. I showed up late to the market, and it was only bullish analysis. You're not going to find not even one bearish possibility, because usually I'll say, if we drop to so-and-so, I'll enter puts. None of that. It was literally only bullish. How would I word it at the end? I'm trying to find the message. Oh yeah, I said absolutely gorgeous morning. Nothing but bullish sentiment, bullish trades, and most importantly, bullish price action. So very hard to not be very bright green this morning. So that's 2 fantastic mornings in a row, which is a great way to come back from my vacation. I've missed options trading. So yeah, it's been fantastic. But with that being said, does anyone have any questions regarding any of the trades I took? By the way, I'll jump to current price action now. You can see that and I can see because I'm on my Thinkorswim's on the screen above me. ES flip stronger than NQ. It's beautiful. Yeah, see this supply zone. This thing has got to go. It's just been updating slow for me on my trading view. I don't know if some other people aren't having that issue. I am. I'm gonna have to roll out an update. But anyways, yeah, that's a trade in which I have to enter calls. That, again, doesn't mean it works or it's going to work, but it's a decent looking setup. But regardless, doesn't matter how good it is. I am done trading. Those are my rules. You guys know I only trade within the first hour, and typically I've only been averaging 30 minutes, which is pretty damn good. I mean, we think back to when we first started trading. What did everyone say? I would love to just trade for 30 minutes, make a few $100. You know, it's a lot more now for many of us, but in the beginning of trading, it would be awesome to just, you know, trade for 30 minutes, replace your day's wage at your job and leave. And now a lot of people are trading for 6 to 7 hours a day, chasing way more money, losing a ton of money in the process and draining their psychology. But, you know, my system now, I'm able to show up for 30, 45 minutes, depending on the day. The last 2 days have been literally only 20 minutes. Make a good chunk of change off of momentum and general liquidity analysis and peace out. And the nice thing is, you don't really experience any psychological deterioration. It's easy to track your trades and gives you a lot more time in the day. So, and ES is still stronger than NQ, so we'll see. But yeah, great morning. I'll respond to your DM. Yeah, Chief, I'll get to your DM today. But all right, well, that is a beautiful demand bounce. You're right, Rikai, on ES. All right, that's it for this review. Hope you guys enjoyed. I thank you guys for attending. I know these reviews in the Discord, we barely get any attendance because everyone's trading at this time of day. But as always, I'll post it on YouTube right now. I'll let you guys know when it's set up. And I just have a bunch of meetings today. Also, I'll update you guys on the promo center stuff where we are doing another $250 giveaway today. But we're going to have some changes coming up. So just stay tuned for announcements. And also, all you mentorship people, another reason I was up really late last night is because I spent a few hours setting up the next 2 weeks of curriculum. So make sure you check that out. I'll send an announcement in a bit. And the 2 weeks after these 2 weeks are going to be another really big step that everyone's going to take. So this is preparing for that. All right. I will see you guys later. You guys have a good luck, blessed rest of your day. Good luck if you continue trading, and let me know if you guys need anything.